Здравствуйте, уважаемые студенты, родители. В преддверии Дня карьеры в Международной гимназии Сколково, которая пройдет 26 ноября, информация уже в чате, и я рада представить вам Дарью Лаврентьеву, руководителя международных образовательных проектов отдела культуры и образования при посольстве Великобритании в Москве, которая расскажет и представит наших гостей. Дарья.
Спасибо большое, Алена. Я благодарю всех учеников школ, родителей, учителей и представителей всех образовательных учреждений, которые с нами, за ваш интерес к нашей сессии. And I will introduce this session in English. So I would like to welcome you to the session that is dedicated to successful cases and experience of students and alumni studying business at the University of Edinburgh. So this session is dedicated to the ideas that are missing in the world and the development of business and startup and actually to how to study business in the UK in the example of the University of Edinburgh Business School. This series of online events with academics of UK universities is organized by the Cultural and Education section of the British Embassy in Moscow, and it is organized for selected Russian schools. So we are very glad to welcome all students, parents, and of course all teachers and IB programs representatives. The events are organized as a part of the biggest online fair of UK Education Study UK. That is a great opportunity for you to meet 45 leading UK universities. Apart from that, we have the University of Edinburgh representatives who will be very happy to talk with you after the session and to discuss your personal cases and ability to study in the UK. So this session will last for about 40 minutes and it is being recorded, and our speakers will be very happy to answer all your questions. So please type them in the comments section under the video in the chat box. We will monitor all the questions and we will ask the speakers to reply on your questions. I would like to introduce our speakers, our presenters. We have Mary Brennan today, the Director of Undergraduate Programs at the University of Edinburgh Business School, Chair of Food Marketing Society, Experts in Corporate Sustainability and Consumer Culture. And we have Harish Luhin, who is Regional Manager, Central and South Asia. We'll be happy to answer all your questions. So the University of Edinburgh is a part of the Russell Group, an association of 24 top universities in the UK that conducts more than 2/3 of the world leading research. And so this is a sign of equality and a brilliant teaching staff with a high academic reputation. And the University of Edinburgh Business School has a long and established tradition of excellence in research, dating back to 1990, when the university introduced the first Bachelor of Commerce degrees. It is one of the leading business schools in Europe, and the geography of Edinburgh graduates covers more than 120 countries. So I'm very happy to now hand this over to Mary.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Darian. And hello to everyone in Russia. Just so that I know that you're all there and I'm not just talking into my microphone, can you just type in the first word that comes to mind when you hear about Edinburgh? When you hear the word Edinburgh, what word comes to mind to you? So in the chat box, if you can let me know that you're there, that would be great. And I'll start to share my screen just so that we know there's people out there. Can everyone see my screen? Can someone let me know it's sharing okay?
Yes, it's good.
Brilliant. Okay, then we'll get started because we've a short bit of time. So welcome everyone, and it's my pleasure to be introducing you to the study of business in Edinburgh as an example of the way in which we teach and develop business education in the UK higher education system. I am Professor Mary Brennan. I am Director of Undergraduate Programs at University of Edinburgh Business School. I'm also Chair of Food Marketing and Society. That's my specialist area of research. And I'm currently acting Deputy Dean for the school. So hopefully I'll be able to answer all of your questions and give you a really good insight into what it's like to be a student here at Edinburgh. Okay. At the heart of our school is our mission to develop effective and responsible leaders. And we do that by getting you to engage in a journey of personal and professional transformation when you're with us. You are not just here to go to lectures. You're not just here to read books. You're not just here to listen to ideas that we have, but you are here to develop yourself personally and professionally and transform who you are and what you are capable of in terms of what you would offer to the world of business around you. We will help you do that by creating and imparting insightful knowledge, inspiring your minds, and ensuring that our education is in dialogue with the world of business, the world of organizations around the world. So we're a truly global business school, both in terms of our student community as well as our faculty community, and we do have Russian members of staff on board in both our management science and our entrepreneurship and innovation group. But we have colleagues from around 50 different countries around the world, and we've about 120 academic staff. We want to be recognised, and we want you as graduates of the University of Edinburgh Business School to be recognised for your progressive thought leadership and how well you are connected to the world of business on the international business scale. And we try to deliver this, and we are learning many new tricks at the moment and developing really innovative and creative ways of responding to the ongoing crisis to deliver high quality, innovative and responsive international learning experience to you. We all undertake research both locally, regionally and internationally to the highest standards that impacts theory and practice. So my own work primarily impacts in the area of food policy, food systems, food waste, food safety, exploring why people do what they do with food and how that is related to some of the largest challenges we have in public health and in foods and in sustainability. This is a term that I want to start off with right up front, this idea of competencies. And this is a term that is increasingly used in the graduate employment market. And why I want to emphasize is that we have worked really hard to develop a set of 10 core competencies that through whichever program you do with us at undergraduate level, you will be able to develop these core competencies. You will only be able, you will be required to develop these core competencies. And at the end of the transformational journey that you will go on with us, you will be able to illustrate and evidence how you have developed and evolved these competencies. And some of these might look unusual to you. So yes, we are interested in academic excellence. We are place a huge emphasis on intellectual curiosity. What we want is students who are passionate and interested and curious to learn. We will teach you and give you opportunities to learn lots of different aspects around business. And what will be at the heart of it will be trying to drive that intellectual curiosity. But also we will want you to understand and develop the skills and competencies to make effective use of data, to be able to develop the analytical skills that you need to be able to operate in a very digital, fast-moving, automated world often. You will also be wanting to develop, and we also want you to develop your emotional intelligence and your authentic leadership skills, and understanding the importance of empathy and authenticity and honesty and transparency in how we manage, and the human aspect of the world of business and the work that we do. You will spend a lot of time developing your skills at meaningful interpersonal interaction with your peers, with your faculty, with your supervisors, and with the businesses or organizations that you engage in, both on the curriculum and potentially in term time work or in internships that you might do while you are studying with us. At the heart of any, any strong globally focused business education is also our responsibility to develop your ethical and sustainable business behaviors, knowledge, and practices. So we will be challenging and getting you to think beyond the for-profit purpose of business and to look at the additional purposes that go around business and the ethics and responsibility that businesses have when they are operating in the world around us. So what is distinctive about our degrees? Well, very often undergraduate business degrees are not that different from each other. But here at Edinburgh, we operate a 4-year program. It is a very flexible program whereby the first couple of years there is encouragement and a requirement for you to study courses outside of business. We expect and look to you to study courses in economics or law or social and political sciences or psychology or even in the arts, so that you bring a much more multidimensional and interdisciplinary understanding to your business education. You will also have the opportunity, if you so wish, to study languages, in particular modern languages, from a range of different countries and a range of different languages. We then, as you move into 3rd and 4th year, offer a really eclectic curriculum that is very research-led. So one of the benefits of coming to a leading research university, and in particular a Russell Group institution in the UK, is that all of us are carrying and undertaking internationally impactful research on a day-to-day basis. So I've already been doing research today around school food, which is my current area of interest. And you will be able to be doing specialist courses that are built from our areas of interest. So for example, in marketing and society, in business ethics, in work, the future of work, in the management of technology, in entrepreneurship, in ecosystems research, etc. We have many options available to you, which you can view at our when you're looking at the degree finder on the University of Edinburgh website, and you are able to go to the actual degree programs and see their structure. You'll see some examples there further down. We have a most amazing campus and city to live in. We live in a World Heritage Site, and we are a central part of this city, and our campus is a central part of the heart of the city, and therefore you get the best of both worlds of living in an amazing city while also having a really vibrant and centrally located campus, where the business school is located on the George Square component of that. We have, as I mentioned, a really global student and staff body, but we are also incredibly connected to and very proud of our connections and our love for our local community, including our local business community. And one of the really nice parts about being in Edinburgh is that while we are not the size of a normal large capital city, we are still a capital city with a parliament, with a with corporate headquarters, with a civil service, with a whole entrepreneurial ecosystem, and with all of the sort of major institutions that you would expect in a capital city. And my next meeting after this is in fact with one of the cabinet secretaries who is responsible for the area of research that I work in. We are also, as I mentioned, very committed to your personal professional development, and we work with you both in the curriculum and in a range of what we call co-curricular activities to build on those. I'm just going to skip that. We have a really strong international learning environment, and that is both through the students that we accept in onto the course, but also in terms of our participation and our encouragement of students to study abroad during their programs. Now, there is still some ongoing final negotiations regarding the UK's continued involvement in the Erasmus scheme in Europe, though we are expecting there to be either a decision made on that we will continue, or there will be an alternative. And we have about 55 partners around the world that students go to on an annual annual basis. About a third of any student, any cohort that we take in will do a year abroad in their third year, and we take in about 300 to 350 students every year across our programs and also our joint programs with other schools. There are also optional study visits, business treks, internships, shadowing opportunities, and increasingly a really important international alumni mentoring scheme that we work into our Edinburgh Award that we offer in third and fourth year in effective and responsible leadership. And to add further to that, we have visiting students who come on an annual basis in normal times, who also come from our range of partners. Our degrees are clustered around three main areas in accounting and finance, business, and international business. We have some specialist programs within the business cluster, so that if you are interested in innovation, or you're interested in marketing, or you're interested in analytics, then there are some specialist areas, and these are aligned to our specialist subject groups within the business school. We also have an international business program where the year abroad is mandatory. On all our other programs, it is optional. On the international business program, you must spend your third year abroad. And if you are doing it with a language, so for example, with Italian, you must go to one of our Italian partners. Or if you are doing it with Chinese, you must go to one of our Chinese partners. And you can see there on the screen the range of courses, the range of languages we currently offer. And those languages are designed for students who are who do not speak those languages to start off with. So you should be entering those languages at a beginner level to go onto those programs. We also have some joint degrees that we run both internally within the school, such as accounting and business, or our very popular accounting and finance program, but also with some of our other outside schools within the college, economics, geography, law, as well as ones that we run as a second subject with the School of Psychology, maths, and we also run some in computer science or informatics. As I mentioned before, the first 2 years are very foundational, and they help you build your basic knowledge across all of the different functions and areas of business, as well as developing your personal professional skills and competencies. And then in year 3 and year 4, you will be specializing, and these are considered your honors years, either through your study abroad in year 3, or by spending your third and fourth year here with us in Edinburgh. And it is on those honours years that your degree is classified, and we base the final outcome of your degree classification. Generally speaking, and of course, the world has been turned upside down, as we all know, but generally speaking, we have a very agile and flexible approach to learning and teaching. We are making more use of digital technologies this year, though we have always used digital technologies, or certainly in recent times. So we deliver through lectures, which normally have large groups collected together, workshops where they're very active and very participatory, tutorials where you will be honing in and focusing on particular areas and particular skill development. We bring guest speakers in, or we will beam them in now regularly from our alumni community around the world, and from our business partners and our and other organizational partners that we have. You will be encouraged and required to do a lot of self-study. That's where that intellectual curiosity, the desire to learn, read, think, debate really becomes a huge part of the learning experience here at Edinburgh. And also you will do quite a lot of work in student-led groups, both informal and formal, for purposes on your courses and for other co-curricular activities. In years 1 and 2, you will do 3 courses per semester or 6 courses per year, and you will have somewhere between 3 to 4 hours of contact per week. Most of that is happening live via digital platforms at the moment, though there is some in-person teaching happening for those who are physically here in Edinburgh. And then in years 3 and 4, you will do 6 courses per year, with 2 hours per course per week. The class sizes are much smaller as you go into years 3 and 4. University life is as much about what you do outside of the classroom as it is about what you do inside the classroom. I was writing a reference for a student who's looking to do a master's at either Cambridge or LSE yesterday, a really strong Chinese student who I've had the pleasure to be a personal tutor for. And one of the things that I really had to bring out in the reference, partly because they were asking for it, was what was all the other stuff she's done. Yes, they can see her academic credentials, they can see the breadth and depth of development she's made in those areas, but they're also interested in how she's contributed to her peer community, how has she been involved in student volunteering activity, what sort of interests does she have, what type of experience in the world of work has she gained during her time at university, and how has she evolved and developed as a person, not just as a graduate with a particular degree classification. So I would like to stress to you how important student life is and how we work really hard, almost as hard as we do on the on-curricular work, to provide a framework and support to help you develop as much as a person as you do academically. And it is the alchemy or the chemistry that brings those two things together that results in the best quality graduates being produced. We will support you all the way in that by having a personal tutor who will not teach you academic material, but will support your academic progress and be your first port of call. We also have a range of administrative colleagues as well as academic colleagues who will support you at the different years of study. Your development is staged, it evolves over the 4 years, and you need to be supported and encouraged and developed accordingly, and we will work with that. One of our unique selling points, in addition to this emphasis on personal and professional development and what has been essentially the development of a really strong coaching culture within the school, is our peer-assisted learning scheme called BizPals. And your fellow students, the older students in the years above you, will begin to support you when you arrive in first year, and they will provide both pastoral support as well as academic study skills support in your key areas, and they will continue and develop that support as you go through your time with us. In terms of where do our graduates go and what do they do? And it's actually a really difficult question to answer. It might seem like the most obvious question to answer, but what I would like to say is that we have thousands of graduates. We have been graduating students in business-related degrees for over 100 years now. And our graduates will go into the private sector, and many will go into management consultancy, they will go into finance, they will go into the banks, they will go into what might be considered they will go into big blue chip, fast moving consumer good companies such as Unilever, and they will go down what might be considered a more traditional sort of graduate training route. But we also have graduates who will go into the public sector. They will go into the civil service. They might go into teaching. They might also go into other types of roles that are supporting or developing business, developing our economies, developing our communities. We increasingly have students who are very committed to their personal and social values and who are interested in going into the third sector. And when I refer to the third sector, that is the charitable sort of not-for-profit sector. And that has become a really important bedrock and employer base for our graduates. And then finally, and I think an area that's of interest to many who come to us, is that many students will not only be interested in being entrepreneurs and setting up their own businesses, many of them will do that while they are here with us at Edinburgh. So they will try out ideas, they will dedicated sort of entrepreneurial support, both within the school and through other services within the university. We have a number of student societies that are really focused on developing entrepreneurial competencies. And we have many students who end up working for startups or small and medium-sized businesses or micro businesses post-graduation. So I suppose part of my my story, and as I conclude, is to say that there isn't one set of dominant employers. There isn't one set of dominant type of roles that our students have. And three recent examples just give you a flavor for that. And these alumni are now part of our alumni advisory groups that are advising our subject groups. And these three are Russian. Federico is a software development engineer with Amazon. And he undertook studies in management science and business economics about 4 or 5 years ago. Alexandra Palfiliov is a digital marketing manager with Wella Professional, one of the personal care product companies. And we also have Anton Nuseko, who is a consultant with an organization called Partners in Performance. And he is actually our regional alumni lead in Moscow. And he studied with us in the 2000s. We do have regularly Russian students, both at undergraduate and at postgraduate level. And I have been incredibly impressed by their work ethic, their curiosity, their willingness to participate, their willingness to take up all of the various opportunities that are on offer, both within the curricula as well as in the co-curricular and extracurricular activity. So I hope that gives you a flavour for what it would be like to be a business student here in Edinburgh. It'll be busy, it'll be diverse, it will challenge you and take you out of your comfort zone. It will offer you a really eclectic opportunity to both develop your breadth of understanding as well as specialize in your areas of interest. And there is time for you to figure out what they are as you go through first and second year. And it will be immensely good fun to be learning in such an internationally diverse student and faculty community. So thank you very much. And I'll hand back over now to Daria. You're on mute, Daria.
Thank you so much, Mary. Before we could go further and hand this over to Harish, I would like just to give you an overview that Edinburgh has an associations with beautiful Scotland's Freedom Advanced Cultural Music Festival. So that is actually what students reply when they think of Edinburgh. So I would like to ask everyone who's watching us to type the questions in the chat box while Harish will just give you an overview of some Edinburgh and give you some beautiful pictures about how Edinburgh looks like. So after that, we will answer your questions. We have a few so Harish, I would like now to hand this over to you. And after that, we will continue with our Q&A session. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time, but I think that it will be fine. Thank you. Harish? We cannot hear you. Yeah.
Is that correct now?
Yeah, now it's great.
Great. Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah, I can confirm that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Daria. So I'm going to give a quick introduction and kind of just talk a bit further about the University of Edinburgh more broadly. Everyone's heard a very interesting introduction to the university's business school from Mary. Thank you very much for that, Mary. That's given a real insight to what it's like to study any of the business programs at undergraduate level here at the University of Edinburgh. Now, just to give you a bit of facts, a few facts and figures about the university, which Mary has already touched on, we are a world-class university leading in a world-class city with the second capital city after London, globally recognized for research and innovation, a very diverse global student community. Mary touched on some of the figures there. We've got just over 18,000 international students from 156 nationalities across India, China, Malaysia, Russia, Kazakhstan, the Middle East and sub-Saharan Africa. So there's a variety of nationalities really promoting intercultural exchange. When you join a university like ours, you are connecting with world-leading academics, leaders in their fields, and learning about the latest developments in your subject. So whether that's the latest startup, the latest inventions, the latest discoveries, you're really connecting with academics who are experts in these fields. Our employers do really value our graduates. We can't guarantee the job, but Mary gave you some very successful examples of some of our Russian alumni now working for leading companies, worldwide companies back in Russia. And again, a lot of them would say it's the degree, their time, their student experience here at the University of Edinburgh that has really developed their transferable skills in communication, public speaking, leadership, teamwork to really excel into their professional careers as well. We've got a number of student societies, and I'll touch on these in a moment at the end. And of course, social responsibility. We're very keen and have a very strong commitment to address global challenges and sustainability, particularly in the long term as well. Now, just to touch a bit further on how welcoming our community is, I mentioned about our international student numbers. Overall, we've got over 41,000 students at the university in total. 2/3 of those students are studying an undergraduate degree. We're currently first in Scotland and top 10 in the UK for students from Russia. So now just accommodating just under 100 students from Russia studying a variety of degrees, either at bachelor's or at a master's level. And we've got a very strong Edinburgh University Russian Society. So again, I mentioned about a number of student societies that we've got. Our Russian Society is a really useful social platform for our Russian students to connect together, for those who are interested in the Russian language, culture, or heritage. As Mary touched on with some of our examples of our alumni, successful alumni in Russia, the majority of them are located in Moscow with just over 130, with an active alumni group. And in total, we've got just over 280 alumni in Russia. As Mary mentioned, Anton Lysenko, who studied at the business school, is one of our key active alum, regional alum in Russia, who has been connecting with us and with new and past and present alumni across the last number of years as well. In terms of the Edinburgh-Russia relationship, these are just a couple of the universities that we work closely with for exchanges and partnerships. We've got a very strong relationship with the Higher School of Economics in Moscow, St. Petersburg State University, and Novosibirsk State University, apologies for the pronunciation as well. These have got developed direct collaborations with our faculties in European languages, School of Chemistry, and School of Social and Political Science as well. This shows you the diverse range of subject offerings as well that we have amongst the university as a whole. Our Princess Daskova Centre is now celebrating a decade of existence at the University of Edinburgh, and this serves to advance the knowledge in the field of Russian language studies, and also really fosters a community, not just of Russians, but of those interested in the study of Russia, research and academic training and knowledge exchange as well for those who are undertaking research within the subject and within the country itself. In terms of study, now just to give you a bit of a broader context of our diverse portfolio offering, we're currently made up of 3 academic colleges, our largest being the Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, which is where the university's business school, where Mary sits, comes under that college. But we've also got popular subjects that have been popular with Russian students, including our School of Philosophy, Psychology and Language Sciences, where we've also got our School of Law as well, in that School of Economics as well, and School of Social and Political Sciences as well. There are 11 faculties in that college. We've got our College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine, which is the only co-joint medical and veterinary medical school in the UK, and our College of Science and Engineering. And again, within that, engineering, computer science, biological sciences, some of the most popular faculties in that. Across the university, we're represented by 400 undergraduate degree programs in total. So there's, again, with some of the combined business degrees that you can do, such as business with law, with geography, with politics, there's a lot of choice in what you can study with us. I won't go into this into too much detail, but as Mary also touched on, our undergraduate degree system in Scotland, different to the rest of the UK. In Scotland, it's a 4-year degree. So it's a mix of a major and minor combination. With the first 2 years, there's some flexibility and choice of subjects to study in the first 2 years, and specialization in your subject really starts in the 3rd year. So the first 2 years give you that flexibility and choice to study other subjects beyond your major, and then the 3rd and the 4th year are your specialist years. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, it's a 3-year degree. At entry requirements, we know there are a number of schools on this session, either private schools or those from the following the IB. You'll see our standard entry requirements here. These can range from a minimum of 34 points with a 655 at higher level. Do check any subject-specific requirements as well. And the highest we can make is up to 43 with a 776 at higher level. Again, check subject-specific requirements such as economics or psychology that may require maths to be taken at standard level as well for that. For those who aren't following the IB and are following just a high traditional, the Russian attestat, again, a foundation year is usually required to be completed for students from Russia before starting a complete undergraduate degree at the university. We do have a foundation year program, and this is specifically within our College of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. And usually the cohort is made up of about 60 international students there. And we would also, for the foundation program, we would ask for an IELTS requirement of 5.5 overall. Now, the foundation year program is specifically for liberal arts, as I said, and again, it's more of an introductory to academic study. It's more of an introduction to academic study and life in the UK. Our overall English language requirements, though, you can see here, IELTS requirements typically ranging from 6.5 to 7. Or the IB, if you've done it at standard level 5, we would take that as well. We've got a dedicated page to Russia, country page, and you can see the link just there as well. In terms of the undergraduate degree, though, what we would expect for those coming to study with us, as you would with any UK university, is you should want to study. There has to be an encouragement of independent thinking, reasoning, and developing your own research skills, developing your own level of independent study, really exploring your subject, becoming an expert in your subject, and by the end of it, a specialist at the end. Once you graduate, you have to be very self-motivated and develop your own critical opinion as well. Now, in the UK, a typical study week, we estimate, including independent study, is around 40 hours. Now, the contact time can vary subject to subject. But again, we'd expect a lot of independent reading outside of your main subject. So for social sciences, subjects like business or law or economics or politics, the typical study week ranges from 12 to 15 hours a week, but of contact time with our academics, but with the expectation to read around the subject as well. There is assessment undertaken through coursework and examination. And again, that will really depend on the subject that you take as well. The personal statement for those applying to the UK, this is all done on UCAS, the University College Admissions Service, is the common portal for applying to the UK, for UK admissions. You don't apply direct to the University of Edinburgh. You have to, as well as your grades, you have to submit a personal statement, which goes to 5 universities. It's one personal statement to 5 universities of your choice. And that really has to demonstrate your academic engagement and interest in the subject, as well as interest in extracurricular activities, but be selective about what you're going to include. You have about 500 words to write a personal statement. So you have, it's less about your extracurricular activities. It's more about, tell us why you're interested in business. Tell us why you're interested in studying international business or management. What is it about the subject that interests you? Where has that come from? Why do you want to do the subject? Is it because it's through resources, through a book you've read, through a particular entrepreneur? Tell us about that and where that interest come from, and also pick key extracurricular activities that show skills and experience for how you will be successful at studying with us as well. So it's all done on UCAS. We typically encourage people to apply by the 15th of January to receive an early decision, so that you are guaranteed to hear by the end of March from our admissions teams. And that particularly for the business school, which is one of our most popular subjects across the university, we definitely encourage applications by the 15th of January to ensure an early decision is made due to the popularity and demand as well. Tuition fees and scholarships. We've got the link there will give you an overview by degree page to our tuition fees. These can vary subject to subject. Our liberal arts subjects, so subjects such as business, law, politics, typically around £24,000 per year. That is a fixed cost per year. Science and engineering subjects, you're looking at £29,600 per year. That is just the tuition fee cost though. Cost of living estimated to be around £1,000, just over £1,000. But again, it really depends on your budget and how you manage your finances as well. The cost of living is separate to tuition fee costs as well. Scholarships is included on this slide, but again, there is very limited funding we offer at the undergraduate level. So if you are looking at funding for your degree, you would have to look outside of the university because we do have very limited funding to support undergraduate study. This is a bit of gives you a bit of a sense of the geography of the university and us in relation to Edinburgh as a city. We're not a campus-based university. We're very much spread out, as you can see on this slide. The buildings located in purple are the main faculty buildings, and our business school would just be right next to the main library that you can see located in the central area of the university, but everything's walking distance. 3 keywords that I often use to describe Edinburgh is that it's safe, it's convenient, and it's accessible. Regularly voted a safe city to live in the UK. Convenient in the sense that you can walk everywhere. You can get from A to B very quickly in terms of in 15 minutes or 20 minutes walk. That's from where you're living in the university to where you're teaching, where your classes are, to the city centre itself. So the buildings you see highlighted in red, you've got key landmarks of the city such as Edinburgh Castle, the National Gallery of Scotland, some of the key attractions of the city, some of the 15 minutes walk from the university itself. So nothing is too far away from each other. In terms of student life and services, again, these are just part of what it means to be a student when you join us at the university. You are guaranteed accommodation if you receive an offer to study with us and you intend to accept the offer. Again, it's all walking distance, all single rooms. Some have food included with them, some don't. It's up to you what kind of lifestyle choice you want. And again, student well-being, we've got a residential life team that will support people connecting students to each other in the accommodation that you stay in. We've also got a range of professional services offering counselling, advice as well for all faiths, and a very strong career service. A career service at our university, at most UK universities, is very much there to advise and prepare you for applying for a job or signposting you to opportunities. We can't guarantee the job, but it's very much on you to be proactive, using your initiative, building your networks whilst you're at university and looking for what's available. Our career service will has career advisors that can help support you on looking for a job, planning for applications or your future career as well. And they're actually located on the 3rd floor of our main library. And last but not least, the fun bit, student experience. When you come to study with us, 4 years is a long time. It's not just about the studying, it's also about making the most of your time and your skills as a student as well. We've got over 300 student-led societies with 4 student union buildings. There's something for everyone to get involved in. It's very active as well. Edinburgh as a city as well is, in normal circumstances, we know this is not normal circumstances at the moment, is often seen as a festival city. So even out of the university, there's usually something to do every month of the year, from a film festival in June to a jazz festival in July. Every August, we celebrate the world's largest arts and cultural festival, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. We have a book festival, a science festival in April. There's always something to do within quite a cosmopolitan, but also quite a historic city as well. And these are just some of the student-led societies. Some are done by subject, some are just for general interest, some are just to connect nationalities together. So we've got a magic society, we've got a mechanical engineering society, we've got a Harry Potter society, J.K. Rowling, a famous alum of the university. So again, it's another way to meet, connect, and make friends. And last but not least, sports clubs, over 60 sports clubs available, and you don't have to be the most competitive if you want to try something new out, whether that's badminton, netball, mountaineering, archery. We've got something for everyone, including an indoor rock climbing wall as well. And of course, we've got gyms across the different university sites. So there is that time to get involved in either the clubs or societies as well. That's it from me. We hope everyone's staying safe and well in Moscow and beyond. We'll thank everyone here for joining across Russia today, this evening rather, for joining myself and Mary for the session. And we've got our contact details here, and I'll hand back to Daria. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Harish. We have a question, actually, one for you. For after school and student life, do you have a MUN program that is possible model of United Nations?
Yes, I think we should. It's not listed on here, Daria, but we do have a model UN that people can get involved in. Yes. Mary, do you want to add anything?
I'm pretty certain there is. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's, as I said, and if there isn't one, students are encouraged to create their own societies as well. So yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty certain there is one though.
Great. So, Katerina, we're happy to say that there is a program, so you can, well, find out more if you could contact Harish or Mary. They will tell more about that. And another question is, Mary, for you, could you please comment a bit? What is intellectual curiosity and emotional intelligence and authentic leadership you mentioned?
Yeah, that'll teach me to use three big terms, won't it? So I think at the heart of what I mean by intellectual curiosity is that you are really interested to learn about the world around you, and in particular, learn about business. That might be about different business models. It might be about different business leaders. It might be different ways of operating and designing businesses. It might be the challenges that are facing businesses and how we are reconsidering what is the purpose of business. So I think in all of our the way in which we teach right from the very beginning in first year all the way through is to get you to question and to challenge and to explore and to research, so that there are really no black and white answers in business. There's just lots of different ways of thinking and explanations. So we are wanting you to be as curious and as interested in what is happening and why things are happening, and how both the external environment, it might be political or social or cultural or technological, is affecting the way in which business operates. And you know, we know more so than anything at the moment how that is all playing itself out. I think in terms of emotional intelligence, that is where we're thinking about how do you tap into the way in which you deal with people, the way in which you interact with people, that your empathy for your employees, your empathy for your customers, your understanding of where they're coming from and what they might be wanting from your product or services or your institution. So it's tapping into the more emotional understanding of what motivates and drives people, either within organizations or in your customer base. And the final one was authentic leadership. And I think that is about being honest. It is being transparent, it's having principles, and it is being open about who you are and what your organization or institution stands for. And sometimes, and as has been in recent times, it's sometimes admitting when you don't know what's going on or you don't know what the right answer is, but that you are working and trying to do the best you can with the resources that are available.
Thank you, Mary. And could you please probably have some assumptions? Do you think that business will be changed after COVID, and in what way?
I think business has been changed irrecoverably. I think we are all, yes, we are all rethinking what work means, how we work, where we work, the value of human interaction. the importance of rest, the importance of our non-work activities, the role of travel, the role of cultural diversity. All of those issues are really playing themselves out. I think leadership has been a really interesting dimension, and how those of us how it is changing the nature of those who are leading and who will be leading into the future. I think we have learned and reflected a huge amount on possibly the way in which we as humans are influencing the world around us. So in terms of sustainability and public health, and the unimaginable impact that something like this can have on a global population. It's unimaginable to have thought 12 months ago that we would be sitting here saying that the thing that was really important was whether the hairdressers were open, not whether we could go out and have a meal or not. So we've sort of, all I want to do is go and see a rugby match, but I'm a big rugby fan. So I'm sure everybody else has their things that they want to do. But yes, there is an education. There will be a lot that will stay because it's essential, but we are changing how we do things, and the technology that we're using, and the way in which we are creating content, and the value and way in which we interact with each other. So I think all of those things will be affected.
But do you still think that all the startups and businesses will be on demand? So there are lots of ideas that can be developed even after pandemic, right?
Yeah, I think some businesses have been incredibly agile, incredibly responsive. There will always be places. The whole purpose of the startup sort of ecosystem is that you try things and they fail, you try again, you respond, you engage with the opportunities that are out there. And absolutely, there's been huge opportunities. And also businesses, maybe we have become more engaged with our local communities. We have become more connected to our own places as well. So I think, yes, there is a lot of opportunity. There are going to be sectors and there are going to be types of businesses that really do struggle to recover, but there will be others that take their places. And what emerges out of this is as what is important to us as people and as customers and as for our leisure and our work time, I think will be fascinating, and will be where the real innovation happens.
Thank you so much, Mary. I'm just sorry that we are probably a bit over time. So I would like to thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. We know how busy you are, so thanks a lot. And I would like also to express my really very big gratitude to Harish. Thank you a lot for joining us. We will definitely answer all the questions, and Harish will be happy to reply on all your comments. So please contact him directly. His email address is on the first comment, so he will be happy to reply. Thank you so much, and I will continue on Russian. So, спасибо большое, друзья, за ваше время. Мы надеемся, что эта сессия была вам полезной и интересной. До новых встреч. Спасибо большое.